Money is not something distant from you. It is not hiding from you. It is not avoiding you. It is responding to the thoughts you entertain, the words you repeat, and the expectations you carry throughout your day. Every condition in life begins in the unseen, before it appears in the seen. Wealth is no exception. What you consistently impress upon your mind must eventually find expression in your world. Today, you are no longer speaking the language of lack. You are no longer rehearsing stories of limitation, delay, or disappointment. You are choosing a new conversation. You are choosing words that agree with abundance. You are choosing thoughts that open the door for prosperity to enter. The moment you align your words with what you desire instead of what you fear, a powerful shift begins to take place. There is an invisible law that responds to conviction. It does not measure your current circumstances. It does not count the dollars in your account today. It responds to the image you hold and the faith with which you hold it. When you repeatedly declare prosperity, gratitude, and increase, you are planting seeds in fertile soil. Those seeds are growing whether you see evidence yet or not, so repeat these words with certainty. Repeat them until they feel natural. Repeat them until they replace every thought of scarcity. Repeat them until your subconscious mind accepts them as truth. For what the subconscious accepts, life eventually reflects. I am a magnet for divine abundance. Money comes to me through expected and unexpected channels. Every day, new opportunities for wealth appear before me. I welcome prosperity with an open heart and a grateful spirit. I release every belief that says there is not enough. I live in a universe of limitless supply. I do not chase money, I align with it. I do not struggle for abundance, I allow it. The doors that need to open are opening now. The opportunities that belong to me are finding me now. The resources I need are coming into my life at exactly the right time, and in exactly the right way. The power that created all wealth is working on my behalf. Infinite intelligence guides me toward profitable ideas, successful actions, and rewarding outcomes. Every step I take is directed toward greater prosperity. Every decision I make is supported by wisdom. Every day brings evidence that abundance is already moving toward me. I refuse to measure my future by my present conditions. I refuse to let appearances deceive me. What is taking place behind the scenes is greater than what I can currently see. Riches are being prepared. Opportunities are being arranged. Circumstances are shifting. Favor is unfolding in ways beyond my imagination. My mind is filled with abundance. My words are filled with abundance. My expectations are filled with abundance. Therefore, my life must reflect abundance. I give thanks for the wealth that is already on its way. I give thanks for the blessings that are multiplying. I give thanks because what I seek is already seeking me. Money responds to my confidence, my gratitude, and my unwavering expectation of good. I stand firm in the belief that supply is endless, opportunities are countless, and prosperity belongs to me. Every day, in every way, I become more receptive to wealth, more aligned with success, and more open to the overflowing abundance that is now flowing into my life. Every word you speak carries a creative influence over your mind. Whether you realize it or not, your words are constantly shaping your expectations, and your expectations play a powerful role in determining what you notice, pursue, and welcome into your life. Many people unknowingly speak against their own desires. They talk about limitation when they want abundance. They speak about obstacles when they desire opportunities. They repeat stories of financial struggle so often that those stories become accepted as facts within their subconscious mind. The mind responds to what it hears repeatedly, and over time, repeated statements become beliefs. Financial expectations are not formed overnight. They are built gradually through daily conversations, internal dialogue, and habitual thinking. If a person constantly says, "Money is hard to get," "I never have enough," or "things never work out for me," those words begin creating an expectation of difficulty. The subconscious mind accepts these statements and works to make them feel true. As a result, opportunities may be overlooked, confidence may decrease, and decisions may be influenced by fear rather than possibility. The opposite is equally true. When you deliberately choose words that support prosperity, increase, and success, you begin creating new expectations within yourself. You start teaching your mind to anticipate favorable outcomes. Instead of expecting financial disappointment, you begin expecting financial improvement. Instead of anticipating lack, you begin anticipating provision. Instead of preparing for failure, you begin preparing for success. Your words act like instructions given to the deeper levels of your mind. The subconscious does not spend time debating whether a statement is accurate or inaccurate. It tends to accept repeated impressions and work toward expressing them in your experience. This is why repetition is so important. A single positive statement may inspire you for a moment, but repeated positive statements begin changing the mental patterns that have been established over years. When you consistently declare that opportunities are coming to you, your awareness begins noticing opportunities that may have previously gone unnoticed. When you affirm that you are capable of success, your actions begin reflecting greater confidence. When you speak words of abundance, your emotional relationship with money starts to change. Fear begins losing its grip, and expectancy begins taking its place. Many people wait for financial evidence before they allow themselves to speak positively. They look at their circumstances and decide that they must first see results before they can believe in improvement. Yet the creative process often works in the reverse direction. A change in expectation frequently comes before a change in conditions. The inner shift creates space for the outer shift. New results often emerge from new assumptions. Speaking positively about money does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to allow temporary conditions to define permanent expectations. Circumstances can change, income can increase, new ideas can emerge, doors can open unexpectedly, solutions can appear where problems once seemed impossible. The future remains unwritten, and your words help determine how you approach it. Each day presents countless opportunities to reinforce empowering financial expectations. You can choose statements that support growth rather than limitation. You can express gratitude for present blessings while expecting greater blessings to come. You can speak as someone who trusts in increase rather than someone who fears decrease. You can train your mind to focus on possibilities instead of barriers. Words spoken with conviction carry even greater influence. When you speak with confidence, emotion, and belief, the message penetrates more deeply into the subconscious mind. The goal is not empty repetition, but sincere acceptance. The more naturally you begin to believe your words, the more powerfully they influence your expectations. As financial expectations improve, behavior often changes as well. People who expect positive outcomes tend to make different decisions than those who expect failure. They are more willing to learn, to grow, to recognize opportunities, and to take constructive action. Their mindset becomes oriented toward solutions rather than limitations. Their attention shifts from what is missing to what is possible. Every statement you repeat is planting something within your consciousness. Some words plant doubt, while others plant confidence. Some plant fear, while others plant faith. Some reinforce scarcity, while others reinforce abundance. The words you choose today become the expectations you carry tomorrow, and those expectations influence the direction of your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions throughout each day. One of the greatest barriers to abundance is not a lack of opportunity, resources, or ability. It is a deeply rooted consciousness of lack. A consciousness of lack is a mental habit that expects limitation, focuses on scarcity, and assumes there is never enough. It influences how people think, speak, feel, and respond to life. Even when opportunities are present, a mind trained to expect shortage often struggles to recognize them. The external world may offer possibilities, but the internal belief system determines how those possibilities are perceived. Many people develop a consciousness of lack without realizing it. It can begin through repeated exposure to negative conversations about money, financial setbacks, disappointing experiences, or years of focusing on what is missing rather than what is available. Over time, thoughts of insufficiency become familiar. Statements such as, "I can't afford it," "there is never enough," or "money always leaves me," become automatic responses. These statements may seem harmless, but they gradually reinforce a belief that lack is permanent and abundance is distant. The mind naturally seeks evidence to support what it already believes. When a person expects scarcity, attention is drawn toward problems, limitations, and obstacles. Every challenge appears larger, while every opportunity appears smaller. The focus remains fixed on what is absent rather than what is possible. This creates a cycle where lack produces fearful thinking. Fearful thinking strengthens the expectation of lack, and the expectation of lack influences future experiences. Releasing a consciousness of lack begins with recognizing that it is a mental condition rather than an unchangeable reality. Financial circumstances may fluctuate, but a consciousness of abundance can exist even during periods of transition. A person can experience temporary challenges without accepting limitation as a permanent identity. The moment you stop identifying yourself with lack, you begin creating space for new possibilities to enter your awareness. One of the most effective ways to release scarcity thinking is to become aware of your daily language. Words reveal hidden beliefs. Listen carefully to the way you speak about money, opportunities, success, and the future. Notice whether your conversations are filled with expectation or discouragement. Notice whether you focus primarily on problems or possibilities. Every negative statement repeated, often enough, strengthens the roots of scarcity within the subconscious mind. Replacing these patterns requires deliberate effort. Instead of speaking about what is missing, begin acknowledging what is available. Instead of dwelling on limitations, direct your attention toward opportunities. Instead of assuming that resources are scarce, begin considering the possibility that new channels of supply can appear in unexpected ways. The mind gradually adapts to whatever perspective it consistently practices. Gratitude plays a powerful role in dissolving a consciousness of lack. Scarcity focuses attention on absence. Gratitude focuses attention on presence. When you become genuinely thankful for what already exists in your life, your awareness shifts. You begin noticing resources, abilities, relationships, opportunities, and blessings that may have previously been overlooked. Gratitude does not deny the desire for greater abundance. It creates a mental atmosphere that welcomes it. Fear is another major component of scarcity consciousness. Fear constantly predicts negative outcomes. It imagines loss before gain, failure before success, and disappointment before achievement. When fear dominates the mind, decision-making becomes restricted. People hesitate to act, hesitate to believe, and hesitate to expect improvement. Releasing fear involves developing trust that opportunities can emerge, solutions can appear, and circumstances can improve in ways not yet visible. A consciousness of abundance recognizes that supply is not limited to current appearances. It understands that ideas, opportunities, creativity, relationships, skills, and resources are continually expanding. It acknowledges that life contains more possibilities than any individual can fully measure. This perspective does not encourage passivity. It encourages openness. It allows the mind to remain receptive to new avenues of growth and prosperity. As scarcity thinking begins to fade, emotional burdens often become lighter. Anxiety decreases because the mind is no longer consumed with constant worry about insufficiency. Confidence increases because attention shifts toward possibility. Hope becomes stronger because the future is no longer viewed through the lens of limitation. The inner atmosphere changes from tension to expectation, from doubt to trust, from contraction to expansion. Every day presents a choice between reinforcing lack or releasing it. Each thought, each conversation, and each expectation contributes to the direction of your consciousness. The more consistently you reject thoughts of limitation and embrace thoughts of possibility, the more naturally abundance begins to occupy your awareness. A mind freed from scarcity becomes increasingly open to recognizing opportunities, receiving guidance, appreciating resources, and expecting favorable outcomes in areas where limitation once seemed unavoidable. To align your mind with infinite supply, you must first understand that abundance begins as a state of consciousness before it becomes an external condition. The world often teaches people to judge their possibilities by their present circumstances. If resources appear limited, they assume supply is limited. If opportunities seem scarce, they assume opportunities are scarce. Yet the visible world is constantly changing, and what appears fixed today may be entirely different tomorrow. Infinite supply is not dependent upon current appearances. It exists beyond what can be immediately seen, measured, or counted. Many people unconsciously train their minds to focus on limitation. They become so accustomed to observing obstacles that they stop recognizing possibilities. Their attention becomes fixed on what is lacking, rather than what is available. The mind then develops a habit of expecting restriction instead of expansion. This habit influences thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions. To align with infinite supply, this pattern must be replaced with a broader vision of what is possible. Infinite supply does not necessarily mean that money suddenly appears without effort, or that every desire is instantly fulfilled. It refers to the endless potential for opportunities, ideas, creativity, solutions, resource sources, and favorable circumstances that continually exist within life. There are always new connections to make, new skills to develop, new markets to explore, new opportunities to discover, and new paths to prosperity. The moment the mind accepts this possibility, it becomes more receptive to recognizing channels through which abundance can flow. One of the most important steps in this alignment is learning to stop measuring your future by your past. Past disappointments often create invisible limitations within the mind. A person who has experienced financial struggles may begin believing that struggle is inevitable. Previous setbacks can become mental barriers that restrict expectations. Yet the future is not obligated to repeat the past. Every day presents new possibilities that were not available yesterday. Infinite supply operates beyond previous experiences and beyond old patterns of thinking. Your imagination plays a powerful role in this process. The mind tends to move toward the images it consistently entertains. If you repeatedly imagine lack, worry, and financial difficulty, those images influence your emotions and expectations. If you deliberately imagine growth, prosperity, opportunity, and success, your mind begins orienting itself toward those possibilities. Imagination is not merely fantasy. It is a tool that helps establish new patterns within consciousness. Faith is another essential component of aligning with infinite supply. Faith allows you to expect good even before evidence appears. It allows you to maintain confidence during periods when results are not yet visible. Many people abandon their positive expectations too quickly because they demand immediate proof. Yet some of the most significant transformations occur beneath the surface before they become visible externally. Faith enables you to remain aligned with abundance while circumstances are still unfolding. Gratitude strengthens this alignment by shifting attention away from scarcity and toward appreciation. When you focus only on what is missing, you reinforce feelings of insufficiency. When you appreciate what already exists, your awareness expands. Gratitude reminds you that supply is already present in various forms. It highlights resources, opportunities, talents, relationships, and blessings that may otherwise be overlooked. This expanded awareness creates a mental environment that supports abundance. It is also important to release the belief that supply comes from only one source. Many people become attached to a specific channel and assume that their prosperity depends entirely upon it. They may believe that only one job, one client, one opportunity, or one circumstance can provide what they need. Infinite supply recognizes that abundance can arrive through countless channels. New opportunities can emerge unexpectedly. Creative ideas can lead to new income streams. Helpful relationships can open doors that previously seemed inaccessible. The words you speak each day contribute significantly to your alignment. Language reinforces belief. Statements of limitation strengthen scarcity thinking, while statements of abundance strengthen prosperity thinking. When you consistently declare that opportunities are available, that solutions are emerging, and that supply is abundant, you are training your subconscious mind to expect favorable outcomes. Repeated positive expectations gradually become natural assumptions. Patience is often necessary because mental alignment is not always reflected instantly in external conditions. Deeply rooted beliefs may take time to change. New habits of thought require consistent practice. The mind becomes aligned through repetition, focus, and persistence. Every time you choose possibility over limitation, trust over fear, and abundance over scarcity, you strengthen your connection to a consciousness that recognizes the limitless potential available within life. The more consistently you maintain this perspective, the more naturally your thoughts, emotions, expectations, and actions begin reflecting the reality of infinite supply. One of the most transformative shifts a person can make is learning to expect prosperity before there is any visible evidence of it. Most people allow appearances to determine their beliefs. They look at their current financial situation, their bank account, their recent experiences, or the challenges surrounding them, and then form expectations based on what they see. If circumstances appear limited, they expect limitation to continue. If progress seems slow, they assume future progress will also be slow. In doing so, they allow present conditions to dictate future possibilities. Prosperity begins with a different approach. It begins when you choose to believe in increase before increase becomes visible. This does not mean ignoring facts or pretending that challenges do not exist. It means refusing to accept temporary conditions as permanent realities. It means understanding that what exists today does not have to determine what exists tomorrow. Every achievement, every opportunity, every financial breakthrough first existed as a possibility before it became a reality. The human mind naturally seeks evidence. It wants proof before it believes. It wants certainty before it commits. Yet many of life's greatest accomplishments require belief before evidence appears. A farmer plants seeds before seeing a harvest. An inventor works on an idea before seeing success. A builder follows a blueprint before seeing a completed structure. In each case, action is taken based on expectation rather than visible proof. Prosperity follows a similar principle. The expectation of increase often comes before the experience of increase. When you expect prosperity, your attention begins shifting toward opportunities that may have previously gone unnoticed. The mind becomes more alert to possibilities because it is no longer consumed by thoughts of lack. New ideas seem more valuable. Potential connections become more noticeable. Solutions appear where obstacles once seemed overwhelming. This shift does not occur because opportunities suddenly come into existence. It occurs because your awareness becomes better equipped to recognize them. Fear often prevents people from expecting prosperity. They worry that if they hope for improvement, and it does not happen immediately, they will be disappointed. As a result, they lower their expectations in an attempt to protect themselves. They prepare for the worst, rather than anticipate the best. Unfortunately, this habit reinforces limitation. It trains the mind to focus on negative outcomes and creates emotional resistance to abundance. Expecting prosperity requires courage because it asks you to believe in possibilities that cannot yet be seen. It asks you to trust that circumstances can improve even when current evidence appears limited. It asks you to remain open to opportunities that have not yet revealed themselves. This kind of expectation is not blind optimism. It is a deliberate choice to focus on potential rather than restriction. Your internal conversations play a major role in shaping these expectations. If you continually tell yourself that nothing will change, your mind begins treating that statement as truth. If you repeatedly affirm that opportunities are emerging, solutions are developing, and prosperity is approaching, your subconscious mind begins accepting those ideas as natural possibilities. Over time, these expectations become deeply rooted and influence your emotional state as well as your behavior. Gratitude strengthens prosperous expectation because it shifts attention away from what is absent and toward what is already present. When you appreciate the resources, abilities, and blessings currently available to you, you develop a sense of trust rather than anxiety. Gratitude creates an atmosphere in which prosperity feels natural rather than distant. It encourages you to view life as a source of possibility rather than a source of limitation. Patience is also essential. Many people become discouraged when visible results do not appear immediately. They assume that because they cannot yet see evidence, nothing is happening. Yet many important developments occur beneath the surface before they become visible. Seeds grow underground before breaking through the soil. Plans develop before they become achievements. Opportunities often form quietly before they reveal themselves openly. The expectation of prosperity influences not only your thoughts, but also your actions. People who anticipate positive outcomes tend to make different decisions than those who anticipate failure. They are more likely to learn new skills, pursue opportunities, build relationships, and take constructive steps toward their goals. Their behavior becomes consistent with their expectations. They act from possibility rather than fear. Every day presents a new opportunity to strengthen this mindset. You can choose to focus on future possibilities rather than present limitations. You can train your mind to anticipate favorable outcomes even before they appear. You can develop the habit of expecting increase, growth, and abundance regardless of temporary circumstances. The more consistently you hold this expectation, the more deeply it becomes embedded within your consciousness, influencing the way you think, feel, speak, and respond to every opportunity that enters your life. Dupissement in faith is one of the most powerful forces in the creation of a prosperous life. Many people begin with enthusiasm when they decide to change their thinking, improve their circumstances, or pursue greater abundance. They repeat affirmations, visualize success, and cultivate positive expectations. Yet after a short period, they become discouraged if visible results do not appear quickly. They begin doubting the process. They question their beliefs. They allow temporary appearances to weaken their confidence. The difference between those who maintain their vision and those who abandon it often lies in persistence. Faith is not merely believing when everything is going well. True faith continues, even when there is no immediate evidence that circumstances are changing. It remains steady when results are delayed. It remains confident when appearances suggest otherwise. It understands that many important developments occur before they become visible. Just because something cannot yet be seen does not mean it is not unfolding. A person who persists in faith refuses to let temporary conditions determine permanent conclusions. Financial challenges may exist today, but they do not define tomorrow. Delays may occur, but delays are not necessarily denials. Obstacles may appear, but obstacles do not have the final word. Faith looks beyond current circumstances and focuses on future possibilities. It sees potential where others see limitation. It sees opportunity where others see barriers. One reason persistence is so important is because the subconscious mind responds to consistency. Repeated thoughts gradually become beliefs. Repeated beliefs shape expectations. Repeated expectations influence actions and decisions. If a person constantly changes direction, abandoning positive beliefs whenever challenges arise, the subconscious receives conflicting messages. One day it is instructed to expect abundance, and the next day it is instructed to expect failure. Consistent faith provides clarity. It reinforces the same message repeatedly until it becomes deeply rooted within consciousness. Many people unknowingly interrupt their own progress through doubt. They begin affirming prosperity, but then spend the rest of the day worrying about lack. They visualize success in the morning and rehearse failure in the evening. They express confidence for a moment and then spend hours focusing on fear. Such contradictions weaken the influence of positive expectations. Persistence requires maintaining alignment even when emotions fluctuate. Faith is strengthened through repetition. Every time you choose a prosperous thought instead of a fearful one, you strengthen a new mental pathway. Every time you reject scarcity and embrace possibility, you reinforce abundance consciousness. Every time you affirm that opportunities are emerging, even when you cannot yet see them, you deepen your belief in favorable outcomes. Small acts of persistence accumulate over time and create significant internal transformation. Patience often accompanies persistence because growth frequently occurs gradually. Society tends to celebrate sudden success stories, but many meaningful achievements develop through consistent effort over extended periods. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Skills are not mastered instantly. Financial growth often follows the same principle. Progress may begin invisibly before it becomes obvious. The absence of immediate results does not mean that movement is absent. Persistence in faith also protects the mind from becoming dominated by appearances. Circumstances are constantly changing. Markets change. Opportunities change. Conditions change. Emotions change. If your confidence depends entirely upon external conditions, your confidence will rise and fall continually. Faith provides stability because it is rooted in possibility rather than appearances. It allows you to remain focused on your desired outcome regardless of temporary fluctuations. Another important aspect of persistence is maintaining gratitude during the waiting period. Gratitude keeps your attention on what is working rather than what is missing. It prevents frustration from becoming the dominant emotional state. When you appreciate present blessings while expecting future increase, you create a balanced perspective. You acknowledge current resources without losing sight of future possibilities. Persistence does not mean remaining passive. It does not mean waiting without action. Faith and action often work together. A person who expects abundance remains open to opportunities, willing to learn, willing to improve, and willing to take constructive steps when guidance appears. Persistence keeps the vision alive while action provides channels through which progress can occur. Challenges sometimes test commitment. Unexpected setbacks may arise. Plans may require adjustment. Opportunities may take longer to develop than anticipated. During such moments, persistence becomes especially valuable. It prevents temporary disappointments from becoming permanent conclusions. It encourages continued belief when immediate evidence is lacking. It allows a person to remain focused on possibilities instead of becoming trapped by appearances. The mind gradually becomes what it consistently practices. A person who repeatedly practices doubt develops stronger habits of doubt. A person who repeatedly practices faith develops stronger habits of faith. Through daily persistence, confidence becomes more natural. Expectation becomes stronger. Fear loses influence. The vision of prosperity becomes increasingly familiar to the subconscious mind, and that familiarity begins shaping thoughts, emotions, decisions, perceptions, and responses in ways that support greater abundance and continued growth.